there, Ariana from Crafting Happiness here. In today's tutorial, I'm gonna teach you how to corner crochet, also known as C2C crochet. I have split the tutorial in two parts. This is the first part, and we will start with this heart design on a yellow background, and we will do the increase rows. I'm gonna show you how to corner crochet, and I will show you how to start and finish a project, how to read the pattern, how to read the graph gun, how to do the color changes, plus a few more tips and tricks to make your life easier when crocheting a C2C project. And for this tutorial, I am using a very simple graph. This is just a heart on a yellow background on a rectangular shape. I wanted to use the rectangular shape because I wanted to show you the increase rows, the maintain rows, and the decrease rows. And I usually start in a left lower corner from this side and crochet in a diagonal way up and down to recreate this pattern. You can start from the right side, makes absolutely no difference. The technique is just the same. So let's start, and to begin we will start from the first row, which is right here in the lower left corner, and you can see these tiny pixels. Each pixel represents a C2C tile, and on the pattern you will see row 1 you work on the right side. With yellow you make one C2C square. These numbers represent the numbers of square you need to make in each row, and this part shows you that you are working on the right side or the wrong side. And just to make absolutely sure you are working on the right side or the wrong side, we will mark the right side with a stitch marker. This way you will never have to be confused which way the pattern is, especially because the C2C projects are double-sided, so what you see on the right side, it's what you're gonna see on the back. Especially with these symmetrical patterns, no matter how you flip them, they look the same. So using a stitch marker is going to be a lifesaver for you. You don't have to count. You know exactly you are on the right side or the wrong side. Okay, so let's start with row 1. On the right side, we are going to make a C2C tile. All right, so we will start with yellow, and I'm using a double knit yarn in red and yellow with a matching hook, which is a 4mm crochet hook. You can use any yarn with a matching hook. And we will start by chaining 6. And this is the only time you're going to chain 6 for your very first C2C tile. And in the 4th chain from the hook, we are going to make a double crochet, and then a double crochet in the last 2 remaining chains. And this is your C2C tile. It's made out of 4 double crochet. The first double crochet, it's always going to be a chain of 2, and this is how it looks like, and each of these tiles represents one of these pixels. So like we said, we are working on the right side, so we are going to mark this just to make sure we know exactly which side we are working on. So just put a stitch marker around one of the double crochet stitches, and this is how it will look. So when this is facing you, you know you are working on the right side. Now I'm going to mark my on my pattern that I completed row 1, and also if you just use the C2C graph gun, you can mark each tiny tile that you have made. And the way I mark them is with an arrow. When you work on the right side, you're going up. When you work on the wrong side, you are going down. So I'm gonna make an up arrow to know that this was on the right side, and I am right now right here at the top, and I need to go down. This will help you a lot to know which side you are working. And if it's a simple design, you don't even need a pattern. You can see exactly the number of tiles you need. I very rarely use a pattern. A graph will do for me. And as you make more designs, you'll get used to working from the graph gun. Right, so let's start now with row number 2. With yellow, we're gonna make 2 tiles, and the total count will be 2 squares. So after each row, you have to turn. Now we are on the wrong side, and we are gonna make 2 tiles. And as you see the section here, they are the increase rows marked right here. All these rows are increase rows. That means you will have to add a square on every row, and you can see here the progression. First row has 1, then 2, then 3, and so on until you finish all the increase rows. Now we are on an increase row, so we need to crochet an extra tile. They are always made at the beginning of the row. So we are gonna chain 5, and then we are gonna make a double crochet in a 3rd chain from the hook, and then a double crochet next chain, and a double crochet in the last chain. And again, we have created a C2C tile. You can see it's got 4 double crochet. The first one is the chain 2, and I'm using the 5-2 method of C2C crochet, which means that I am chaining 5 chains to create a new tile, and I chain 2 for a double crochet. A majority of patterns tell you to chain 6 for a new tile and make 3 chains for a double crochet. I found that my spaces in between tiles are quite loose, and you have gaps if you use the 6-3 method. If you find on your project that you have gaps and the tiles are not very tight to each other, then use the 5-2 method. Makes no difference. You will just in your pattern, it will just make your project more tight and more compact, and the image will look more together, let's say. All right, so we've created this tile. Now we need to join it to the next tile. And to do that, we are going to insert our hook in between the double crochet posts right here at the top, not in a second, not in a third, right here at the top, and slip stitch. And this will connect the 2 tiles. So like I said, here we are right here at the top because we went up. Now we made a tile with a down arrow. We are going to mark it that we have made it. If you look on the right side, you can see the tile at the top right here. This is your tile. Now we need to make 1 more. So let's create another tile, and like I said, I'm using the 5-2 method, so chain 2, and then in the same space make 3 double crochet. And this is your second tile, and we are going to mark it on this graph gun going down with the arrow down. Now we've completed row 2, so let's just mark it as done. And now we are moving to row 3. On the right side with yellow, we are going to make 3. And you can see here on a graph gun, we have 3 yellow dots or pixels. So we need to make 3 squares. So again, turn. You always turn after every row in C2C. And we are still in the increase rows, so we need to create 1 extra tile always at the beginning of the row. So chain 5, in a third chain from the hook, make a double crochet, and then another double crochet in each of the 2 remaining chains. That's your first and the second. And again, we need to join it to the rest of the project with a slip stitch. Insert a hook in the space between the 2 double crochet right there at the top and slip stitch. Now we need to make 2 more, chain 2, and in the same space make 3 double crochet. So now we've made it. Again, we need to join it to the rest of the project by slip stitch, insert a hook in the top between the 2 top double crochet, post and slip stitch. And now we've made 2. We need another one, chain 2 and 3 double crochet in the same space between the 2 double crochet posts. And we have completed now round 3, and we are going to mark it on the graph gun. We went all the way down, so that means we have to go from bottom up, and with an arrow we're gonna mark them as done. If you follow a pattern, just mark it as done as well. So now, as you can see, row 4, 5, 6 and 7 are all made in yellow, and all the only difference is that we increase with 1 tile every time. So I'm gonna complete these rows. I'm probably gonna speed up the video. They are exactly like row 2 and 3. So if you need, you can just rewind or slow down the video. But I will be making this quite fast so we can move into the colored ones to show you the color change. So again, row 4, wrong side with yellow, 4 tiles, turn, and we are gonna make 4 tiles. Now we have done row 4, and we mark it with down arrows because it was the wrong side. And now we have row 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow squares, row 5, right side, 5 yellow squares. So now we have the 5th row complete. We are gonna mark it with up arrows because we are right here at the bottom. We made all 5 tiles. If you follow pattern, mark it as complete. So now wrong side with yellow, make 6. Let's do that turn, and we are still in the increase rows, so we are gonna have to create a new C2C tile at the beginning. Now we have completed row 6. Let's mark it. We're gonna mark it here as well with down arrows. Now we have row 7 and it's going upwards. We are gonna make 7 squares right here, row 7 with yellow, 7 squares on the right side. So turn, and there we are on the right side, and let's make this last one as well. Alright, so we have finished all these rows with yellow color. We are right here. We're gonna mark row 7 as complete, 7 yellow squares on the right side, so going out. Now row 8, you will notice there are different colors used to make the C2C squares, and here on a graph gun as well. So as we go from up downwards on row 8, you will see you will need 1 yellow, then 4 red, then 3 yellows. Here on the pattern as well, on the wrong side, so that means going down, yellow, make 1, red, make 4, yellow, make 3, 8 squares in total. Remember, we are in the increase row, so our square count will increase by 1. And let me show you how to do it. In this row we are going to have to change colors, and also I will show you how to manage your colors, especially when you work with lots of them, with lots of color changes. Turn to be on the wrong side, and your first tile is 1 yellow tile. So let's create it because we are on an increase row. Chain 5, double crochet in a third, chain, and double crochet next 2 chains. I'm not going to join the tile to the rest of the project. I'm just going to change color. And now we are going to introduce red, and I will show you how I deal with color changes and managing the yarn. Switching back and forth your project, when you work with a lot of colors, it can create a mess. Your yarn can get all messed up and tangled, and to avoid that, I'm just using a simple method. I'm using this plastic clothespin, and I'm just taking some amount of yarn. I'm wrapping it around it, and I will connect this to the project so I don't have any tangled yarns when I move back and forth between the rows. So the amount of yarn that I put on a clothespin, it depends. I don't really calculate my yarn. I just put some amount on it. If I need more, I just join new yarn. But if you want to know how many meters to put, just make a few tiles, make 2 or 3 rows, and see how much yarn you are using for each tile. And then if you need, like if you know you're making only 4 tiles, then put the right amount for 4 tiles. I don't really like to overly complicate my projects, so I'm just putting some amount of yarn, and then if I need more, I will just join more yarn. Right, so I'll probably need more yarn. This is not enough, but this is how I keep my yarn organized. Now this will be locked on my project, and then as I moved, it will not tangle, it will not unravel. Right, but first we need to do the color change. So like I said, right before you slip stitch, bring the yarn, the new yarn, and pull it through the loop. Use the yellow yarn to tie it up. Don't cut the yarn, leave it there, and we will continue with the red. And first we are going to slip stitch and join these two tiles like so, and then continue with the next tiles. In the pattern you will see red 4 tiles. Like you see here, I cut through to know that I'm done with that color. You can circle it if you like. You can make it, mark it on the graph gun as you go, bit by bit. Don't do the whole round and then mark it. It will be confusing, especially when you have different color changes. So do it section by section. I did yellow 1, I marked it. I will do red 4 and then I will mark it. So let's do our 4 tiles. Chain 2 and make your tile. So we have finished our tiles, but we know from this point on we need to continue with yellow. So I will not be slip stitching to the project. I will just mark them on the graph gun, going down arrows. I have made 4 red tiles. Also here I'll cut through. I know I've made 4 red tiles. Next is yellow 3, so we need 3 yellow squares. Now we have the yarn here. We are not going to cut and bring it here. We're not going to join it like this because you're going to see it on the back. You will need a separate yarn, and I already made my clothespin with some yarn wrapped around it. Again, I didn't calculate. If it helps you, you can calculate. And I'll be using this. So we are working with multiple pieces of yarn, strands of yarn. And again, pull it through the loop, use the red tail to close the loop, leave a relatively long tail so you can weave it in at the end of the project. And now we need to join this tile to the main project with a slip stitch. Okay, so just tighten up everything. All right. And now you know we need to make 3 squares in yellow. Okay, so I have finished round 8. This is what we have. We're gonna mark it here, 3 yellow squares complete, and we have 3 yellow squares complete, or like I said, circle them, doesn't really matter. Now row 8 is complete, and now we need to turn and start row 9 on the right side. First we make 4 yellows, then 4 red, and then 1 yellow, totaling 9 squares because we are still in an increased row, so we're gonna have to add 1 tile. Now, like I told you before, when you turn around, you see all this yarn will be back and forth. We will tangle, it will be a mess. So the way to do it is just wrap your yarn tight around your project and then clip it on, just like this. And this will not unravel, it will not be a mess. We'll do the same with this one after we're done with it. This yarn is still connected to my ball of yarn, but if you'd had this on a clothespin, it will be right here tight at the end. All right, so this is quite simple, so you don't really need so many clothespins. I wanted to show you how to do it for when you have a more complex pattern. And now our last increase, row 9, we will start with 4 yellows. So turn, and you are on the right side, and we are going to increase by making 1 extra tile, chain 5 and double crochet in a third from hook, and then double crochet in the next 2 chains and connect the tile to the rest of the project with a slip stitch. Now 3 more of these. We're not gonna join this one because we need to switch colors. Our next are 4 tiles in red. We have made the 4 in yellow. We're gonna mark them also on the pattern, mark it as done, and then next are 4 tiles in red. Now when you're done and it's your color turn, just release it, release the yarn so you can work with it. As you see, we need to join right here at the top, but our yarn is at the bottom of the tile. Now if you just pull through like this and continue to with a slip stitch, this is how it will look like. You'll see this piece of yarn right here. When you have a lot of color changes, it will look really bad. It doesn't really look very sightly. It all depends how you like it. I'd rather not have this sort of yarn going across my tiles. So another option to do it and change colors is to first bring this yarn at the top of the tile with slip stitches. So what I do is make slip stitches along this double crochet until my yarn is right here at the top of the tile. So I'm just going to bring this yarn from bottom to the top with slip stitches. So you'll need to make like maybe 4 slip stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and the last one will be right here at the top, 4. And you can see now you don't see any yarn going across your tile. It all looks nice and part of the C2C tile. Now it's time to just pull the loop through, and that's your color change. And now we can continue with the rest of the pattern. Next we have, like I said, 4 tiles in red. Now we are done with this yarn. We're just gonna tighten up and grab the yarn and clip it on. There it goes. So now as you turn around, you don't have any ends, you don't have any yarn, it will stick around. You probably, with larger projects, you're gonna hand up like 6, 7 of this. It's a lifesaver. It's so much easier and your yarn will not tangle. And it's such a cheap option compared to what I've seen where they use this specially made things to keep your yarn organized. You have to carry with you everywhere. These are so easy. Put it in a bag and you're done. All right, so let's continue. Chain 2 and make your tile. That's 1. We need 3 more. All right, so we have made our 4 tiles. Now it's time. The next portion of the pattern says yellow make 1, so we've done with red, cut, mark it. Also on the graph gun we've made 4 red. Now we have 1 more in yellow, and we need to change color, so I'm not going to slip stitch with red. We need to join the yellow, but as you can see, again, your yarn is at the bottom right here. We need to bring it up there, and I'll just do slip stitches along the edge just to bring it up. That's the easiest way and the most it just looks good. It makes your project look a lot better than just bringing yarn over the tiles. So again, I just slip stitch along the edge, and then I will pull the tile through and use the red yarn to close the hole. And now we just continue with our tile. Oh, not with the red one. We are going to put the red one back to where it belongs, which is right here. And here we go. We can turn around, and there's no tangling of yarn at all. All right, so we need to make 1 in yellow, so chain 2 and make your tile. And we have row 9 complete. This is how it looks like, and we are gonna mark it right here on a pattern, also mark it here, and row 9 complete. I will put the link to the second part in the description for you, and also in here at the top of this video. If you are interested to know how to make this border for C2C projects, I have a different video tutorial for it, and you will find the link in the description, and probably I'll be putting it in the same location here in the top of the video for you.